All right, welcome to Giddy Up with GitHub Insights. If you hopped on already, I'm going to launch a quick poll for everybody to take while we're just waiting for everybody to trickle in. So it's just a quick 3 questions so we can learn a little bit more about you and what kind of source code repository you're working with. Let's go. Oh, is that poll still up? Yes. Okay, cool. So go ahead and answer those 3 questions and we'll get started in just a second. Lindsay, can you see the polls?
I can.
Okay, cool. Zach, I love the background, mixing it up.
I thought we were mixing it up. I didn't realize we were coordinating on the one.
No, it's great. I love it. We're all at different spots of the ranch.
You know, it's a big place, Yellowstone. So
Nice. So far, we've got a lot of GitHub users. Oh, one Bitbucket. Cool. All right, well, we'll keep that poll open for a little bit. So as more people come in, go ahead and answer those 3 questions. But I think we're ready to get started. So Lindsay, you want to take it away?
all right. Well, howdy, y'all. Welcome to this month's installment of the StackHawk office hours. We are super excited to have you here. It's going to be a little different than our usual, but I just want to set some expectations. So if you've never been to StackHawk office hours before, this is our time we set aside every month to connect with our customers and prospects and anyone else interested in our topic. To just share what's new, what's happening, go through some complicated use cases and just really help people out and give them the opportunity to ask us anything that they want about StackHawk. We also, if you haven't noticed, love a theme. And so this month's theme is Giddy Up with GitHub Insights. And we are at the ranch at Yellowstone, ready to show you how to wrangle some Octocats. So just a couple of things. There is a Q&A option in Zoom. So as we're going through this presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and shoot those over. We'll try to answer those. We have a whole gang of ranch hands here that are ready to answer those questions while you're asking them in the Q&A. And also we'll take some at the end. So don't be shy. We're open to anything, even if it's just feedback or you just want to share your feelings about our t-shirts. That's also great. We love all the feedback and we know that everyone loves our t-shirts. So without further ado, let's get into it. Because we have sort of a larger audience today, we wanted to start out by just, level setting. What is StackHawk? Maybe you've landed on our website. Maybe you saw us at a conference because of our cool logo. Maybe you have a t-shirt and you don't remember where you got it, but now you're here today and we wanted to just give a little quick run through of what we do. So you may have seen this on our website, security testing for teams that deploy software every day. What does that mean? And what is our part in that security testing journey? Well, we are a DAS tool, so Dynamic Application Security Testing. Maybe you are familiar with SCA or SAST, the more static friends that we have. But DAST is the kind of cool kid on the block, and we're really around making sure that we're actually testing things at runtime to show what's truly exploitable. We're acting as that bad actor. We're going in and really attempting to steal and manipulate that data and see what truly should be prioritized by your AppSec team to find it, and fix. And what we do is also we want to collaborate with those SaaS findings to make sure that not only you have that information about the fact that something is exploitable, but you can also get that code level analysis to help your development teams really connect those dots and figure out how to prioritize and fix those issues. So it's really a hand-in-hand item, but we think DES is obviously the coolest. So what else is interesting about StackHawk is that we're really developer focused. We really believe truly in that shift left mentality where finding things and fixing things should happen as quickly as possible and as close to the code as possible. We want our scanner to run quickly. We want to be accurate. We want to make sure that you have all of the configuration options that you need in order to really hone in on what's important, get the full list of paths, make sure you have coverage for all the types of APIs that you're using in your organization. So you can see here we support REST, so GraphQL and the newest kid on the block, gRPC. We also really promote getting things into automation because this is just like an integration test or a unit test. You would run this with every PR. You want to make sure that at the time that you're introducing new code, that you haven't also introduced a new vulnerability. So what better way to do this than just get that into that secure software development lifecycle at the very beginning so that you can fix it the second that you introduce it and you're not waiting a month to find out, when was that code introduced and how do I get back to it? So all of our tools and our integrations are really around like helping customers get into that mindset of shifting left and finding things in pre-production, which is a great way to introduce our connection to GitHub, because what better integration to have than something that is where our customers are. And that's really what it's all about, meeting the development team where they are doing the work, where they're committing code, where they're running their PRs, where they're doing their checks. And with that, we have a lot of features already in place. If you're a current customer and you either didn't know we had this, or you did know you had this, and maybe you haven't taken advantage of all the features, we really want to get our scanner integrated with GitHub Actions. Getting those PR checks is incredible. Obviously, like, don't leave where you are in order to find out something's happened. Get that line of sight directly in your PR, just like you would if you broke an integration test in your pipeline. And then we also have a collaboration with GitHub CodeQL. So if you're using that tool for SaaS, you can have your line of code details directly in the StackHawk platform. So you get that one-to-one mapping and understand, again, how to prioritize. Are you finding something that's truly exploitable? And also where in the code was that introduced? So it's a really great way to just connect those dots and get the ability to solve things a lot faster. But then, of course, as we were tinkering around, we realized that GitHub has so many APIs, so many options for us to continue to improve that integration and make it more robust. And we started to think, what are the kinds of things that we want to be able to deliver to our customers that are actually solving very common problems that we see in this security coverage journey? And a lot of it is around discoverability. What actually needs to be scanned? Where are my APIs? Where are the services that power my web applications that must be under test in order for us to make sure that we're actually secure? Onboarding is consistently a difficult issue, right? Like, configuration is complicated. Knowing exactly what's in a repository, who to ask about it, what the configuration is, authentication, what's the technology supporting it. All of that can be really difficult, and we want to help guide you on that journey. And we believe that marrying the StackHawk and GitHub APIs together, we can help really facilitate a step-by-step flow to get you going. But development never stops. So even if you integrated with us, 6 months ago, that doesn't mean that that's the state of your organization today. New repos could have come online, new services, new applications. So you wanted a one-stop shop that really gave you a line of sight view into exactly what's going on in your org today, where code is being committed. Are your tests staying in sync with that new code coverage? Are you missing some configuration that you didn't know? Are you partially set up, but you didn't make it all the way to running those tests? And then obviously, what better thing to help a user or an organization can connect that communication line of sight between security and engineering, where one of them is looking at that bird's eye view of everything that's going on, what tests are running, what's happening in your organization from the security perspective, but they're also going to need the help of that engineering team to make sure that everything is configured and running effectively. So how are we going to do all of that? Well, introducing our new and exciting, will be live in beta today for all of our pro and enterprise customers and everyone trialing us, GitHub Insights. So it's time to secure your ranch. So if you haven't seen Yellowstone, I will go ahead and apologize in advance because you may not understand all the gifts and all of the analogies that we will be using. But hopefully you know what a ranch is and it's not too confusing. And with that, because this is beta, obviously we want your feedback. We are stoked. We are super excited about this. We believe this unlocks a ton of use cases for our customers. We think that this really is just the scratching of the surface of what we can do with this feature. And so we would love your feedback. We want to know all of your use cases, how this helps you, what we can add next that would make you really excited. So don't be shy. There's going to be a lot of opportunity, and I will give you many options to get in contact with me at the end of this to let us know what you think. So what is this thing? So like I said, it's kind of a one-stop shop. We wanted to create one view that really aggregated all of this data together and gave you just a quick sort of dashboard snippet of the state of your ranch. How do I find what holes are in my fencing? Is my perimeter secure? Has anything leaked into my environment that I am not aware of since the last time I checked? And this new repositories page is what we landed on, and we're really excited about it. We think that this helps you not only just get up and running, because we've added really good features around just bulk creation of applications. Obviously, you have the visibility of all of your repositories. But we're really kind of guiding you through that journey of letting you know where you are in the configuration process, letting you know where you are in your coverage process. And we think that this is going to be incredibly helpful for you. And like I said, it takes a ranch hand and the foreman and an owner to really keep things flowing. And let's not forget those barrel racers and everybody else in order to make things run smoothly, because your ranch is a big place and there's a lot of things going on, and not everyone is going to have insight into all the inner workings. And so you really have to work together. We think, I'll call the developers our trusty ranch hands. They know the inner workings of the place. They know where the herd is on, where they've been moving, where the best grass is. And also they know where the fencing is, where the holes might be in the fencing, because not only, are they, riding around all day looking at it, but they're the ones that also build and maintain it. So we trust that they know how to fix it. So keeping that collaboration is so core to everything that we believe at StackHawk. And with this page, let's just talk about a couple of the things that we're going to demo and the types of questions we wanted to ask of this new repositories page. So around discoverability, what are the repositories in my organization? Where are those key assets? Where are the APIs? Where are the services that I need to have under test? As a security person, especially in a large organization, it can be really hard to know exactly where everything is, what team owns what, what's being actively developed against and what isn't. And so we wanted to give you, again, that quick snapshot of what's just the current state of your org. And with that, again, how do I get set up? What repositories are connected to a StackHawk application? Which of them needs to be configured? Which of them is under test? Which of them is still missing the mapping? And then, of course, obviously, what's the state of the coverage compared to the speed of development? Are you keeping up? Are you running those scans? Are you running those tests at the same time that you're running the commits, or are you really out of sync and need to make sure that you're catching up so that you're not missing those core pieces of code that are going out to production? And then also, what better place to highlight who's working on those repositories, but to also give you access to the last contributor so that in those moments when you do need new configuration, or maybe there's a new vulnerability that arises in your last test, who do you go ask? Maybe it's not the perfect person, but it gives you access to someone that you can go, yell across the ranch and ask for help. So that will also be available right on the screen. And I would be remiss if I did not also mention the other piece of the puzzle that is available already, which is the optimization panel, which kind of really gives you that soup to nuts, everything that you need in order to get from onboarding into a fully optimized scan. So as you configure everything and you get up and running, maybe you secured the fences with string, but you need to circle back and make sure that you go and you really wire that up correctly. And so the optimization panel is a great place to go and just check on the details of your last scan. Make sure that your development team has added the correct authentication, that you've toggled those tech flags that are appropriate for your repository, and that you've added anything like your API documents so that you're focusing on those paths, getting rid of those false positives, and making sure you truly are securing the realm. And with that, I've done a lot of talking, and so I'm going to hand it over to ranch hand Brandon to talk about how we wrangle the herd of Octocats. So it's demo time, and take it away, Brandon.
All right, let me get my screen up. All right, can you guys see everything?
Yeehaw.
Sweet. So it's great to have everyone here today. I'm thrilled to introduce our latest game changer, which is GitHub Insights. So picture this, a seamless blend of GitHub and StackHawk data all in one place. So what's the scoop? We've built this awesome repositories page that's like a compass for both security pros and developers alike. It's your secret weapon to navigate the world of security testing in the modern day. Security warriors, you're in for a treat. With GitHub Insights, you'll know exactly where to channel your security testing mojo. You can match your GitHub repositories with StackHawk applications effortlessly. And that's not all. You can easily track when a repo was last scanned or when the latest commit dropped. It's like having a built-in security radar. Developers, we've got your back too. No more hunting around for info. You can quickly find things in StackHawk by using what you're already familiar with, the code repositories. And the cherry on top is that collaboration's made super smooth. Extend invites to your code contributors straight from the StackHawk platform. If you're new to StackHawk, you can whip up fresh StackHawk apps right from your code repositories in bulk. It's a party for productivity. So let's dive in and see the GitHub Insights in action. Say goodbye to discoverability woes and hello to a unified, powerful way of security testing. All right.
Yeehaw! Brandon, can you zoom in a little bit on your screen? Possibly.
Probably. How does that look?
That looks good to me. I'll see if we get any feedback and I'll let you know.
All right. So you're looking at the new repositories page, and you can get to this page by connecting the StackHawk GitHub integration in your own StackHawk org. Right away, one of the things I want to call out is that these repositories are sorted by the last commit. So the most active repositories are going to naturally bubble up to the top. There's several ways you can wrangle this data to find exactly what you're looking for as well. So if you're a security person, you may care about the repositories that are already mapped or maybe that aren't mapped yet. And then maybe you want to find the mapped repositories that don't yet have scans. You can quickly hone in on this relevant information so you know where to start. And then if you're a developer and you're looking for a specific repo, you can go straight to that and then find what you're looking for quickly. And then you can use this page to audit your organization. So for example, maybe you set up StackHawk 6 months ago and you were fully covered then, but you can quickly see if anything has changed and if you're not covered anymore. So for example, maybe when I set up StackHawk, I only had these 2 repos. And as you can see now, I have a lot more. So it's a pretty good indication for myself that I need to go and scan more things. So you can also map and unmap repositories to StackHawk applications from this page. So I had already created a app for my KTOR Volney app. And if I haven't yet connected it, I can do that right from here. And then you can also bulk create applications. So if you know you need to get scanning on some more things, you can go ahead and bulk create these applications. And then I'm not sure, live demos. All right, there we go. Now it's showing up. So this is a really powerful tool for onboarding because it lets you create your applications quickly, and then it will prompt you to get the ball rolling on configuring your scan. So if I come back to this DBWA Docker repository and I start configuring this, skip that part for now. But then when you walk through that configuration prompt, it gives you the first snippet of your configuration file so you can get scanning quickly. And then it's changed from prompting you to configure your scan environment to wanting you to go and run a scan. And then another cool thing is what we had mentioned before is you can quickly tell if a repository is evolving, but you aren't scanning it. So for this Java Spring Volney app, the last commit was a month ago, but we haven't scanned it for the past 4 months. And so this is a really quick indication that maybe we should start scanning this again because the code's evolving, but we are not testing it. And then the other cool thing is that if you see a repo and you don't know where to start, you can invite a user straight from here. So I want to start scanning this Voln gRPC Kotlin app. And I don't know anything about this, but my friend Wepom over here does, which is really one of my coworkers, Austin. And so I can invite him straight from the platform, and then he can get in here and help me scan and test this app. And then I think that's it for the scripted demo. Any questions or anywhere else we want to go?
I think that was great. Thank you, Brandon.
Brandon and Lindsay, thank you for kicking this off for us. Everyone out there in the audience, if you have questions about what we're doing here, where this might be headed, what configuration things we're helping you with. Lindsay talked about why DAST is super important in AppSec process and why we think it's important, really that prioritization and testing, running applications, trying to find vulnerabilities. And we know it's powerful, and we know you can get stuck while you're doing the rollout. So we like to say, as John Dutton might say, this ain't checkers, this is chess. I don't know. That's the bad John Dutton, probably. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway.
That's good. I approve.
Yeah. So he's right here. He approves. Anyway, yeah. Getting a DAST tool rolled out across the applications that are being developed and deployed in your organization can be tough. It is also really tough to be able to go, ooh, someone started a new application. I have no idea about it. And that's the kinds of things that we're trying to help security teams and development teams collaborate on is, am I covering all of the APIs and applications that I've put out there? Am I aware of the new ones that are coming online? Because typically when someone starts writing a new API or an application, the very first thing they do is create a repository. Brandon can attest to that. He's only not done that one time in his whole life, and it didn't go well. I don't think that's actually true either, but whatever. Really excited about where this feature leads us as StackHawk and the things that we can do with this feature and this integration down the road. we've got really, really big, delicious plans for it.
Yes.
So keep an eye out on it. Nicole might have a question.
I do. I actually have two now. Really good first question. Can I pin high priority repos to the top of the table?
I think that's a great idea. That concept of favoriting, I think that we should definitely look at. We don't have that now. We've just added features around searching and filtering. But I will absolutely take that into account and add something around the feature request for that, because I absolutely agree that, you know, you want to be able to, as a user, come and find the things that you care about and make sure those are bubbling up to the top, especially if you're an organization that has 300 repositories that are all really active. I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to ask.
Yeah, I think we already have the concept of giving a repository, an application, a priority in the StackHawk console. So being able to correlate that back to the repository and then search on the priority of the application is probably a really good idea as well.
Awesome.
Excellent. And our next question, will users get notifications when new code is deployed to make sure that it's tested? Another great one.
That's definitely something that we've thought about. We don't have a notification mechanism yet, but that's something that would be post GA for us. So I also do have a couple other things that we have in the works that will be post GA around some additional metadata that we're going to capture. But that's definitely on our radar to give some sort of notification to let you know that, hey, you need to revisit this page. There's something new for you to look at.
Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay. And apologies, we cut Lindsay off a little short. She does have a few more slides for us.
Thank you.
And while she's doing that, I'm also going to launch one more poll for you guys, just to see what makes you yeehaw. So,
ooh, yeah. So those questions set me up really well for just letting you know a couple of other things. Like I said, this is season 1, and you know, a lot of things can keep happening. The drama is not done. We see tons of potential for this, and we already know, based on some user feedback that we've already gotten, it would be really helpful to have things like the languages associated with the repository, topics, which I think are a very similar concept to tagging, to help you find, you know, like that sort of favoriting concept of like, what are the ones that are associated with my team and how do I filter by those? And then we also know that there's probably a lot of clutter around your repositories or things that don't make sense. So we will have the ability to hide repositories so that you can, again, like keep that really tight, and make sure that that list makes sense for your organization. And again, we want feedback. Tell us what you want to see. If there's something else, here are all the ways that you can get in contact with me. You know, I applaud Pony Express. If you send a horse my way, I would be delighted. So bring him on over. And yeah, so email. If your organization is already with us and a customer, hit us up in Slack. In product, there's a little button at the bottom for intercom where you can basically send us anything that you want. So use that freely. Our support team is there, and they can send over any feature requests that you have. So would love to hear all that feedback, basically everything. Tell me everything. I want to know it. And with that, we thank you. Hope that you found this very exciting. And we open it up. More questions, anything? Don't be shy, people. Don't be shy. All these ranchers. Ooh.
okay, let's see. We've got one for you, Lindsay. Sneak scans project dependencies. Does StackHawk also do this?
Who would like to take that from our ranch hands?
So I think that's just the difference in types of security testing. So the scanning of project dependencies is SCA, or static composition analysis. And so we partner with a couple of tools that can do this. And so the recommendation there for scanning those project dependencies is just to use one of the tools that's built for SCA. And then we focus on DAST.
Yeah, what are some of those tools that we work with?
I think the ones we work with right now are CodeQL and then Sneak Code.
So yes,
Yeah.
for SAST tools, on the GitHub side, it would be Dependabot. On the Sneak side, it would be Sneak open source. And we also sort of test dependencies, right? So if there's an open source dependency that's included in your code that exposes itself in the running application, we can test that and see if that problem is available externally. Now, correlating that back to the open source might be a little tricky, but when you do have one of those SCA tools in place and StackHawk in place, you can get to quite often, what things do I need to do? Like, where is the vulnerability after we've tested, and what do I need to upgrade library wise to fix that vulnerability?
Awesome.
Nobody else? No one else has any questions about why we
Everyone-
all have these silly hats and mustaches and
What makes
crazy-
a ranch and not a farm?
There's a
Ooh,
good one.
Any bit
Couple
bucket
good
plans?
ones.
I think that one is a great question, and yes, that's kind of why we put that question in the poll. We want to know what you're using. Obviously, not everyone uses GitHub, so we see an extension of this feature to hopefully any Git repository. And
We would love,
Bitbucket's
yeah,
in the lead right now from my poll perspective. So
yeah, we would love to make GitHub Insights Git Insights. So it's usable for many source code repositories and all the folks using those. So we love to hear what you're using.
and what makes a ranch and not a farm? I'm gonna go size.
Nope.
No?
No.
Someone has a real answer? Oh, okay.
Is it
The
presence of animals?
Maybe.
Oh, really?
I guess you couldn't have a chicken ranch, or could you?
I mean, you can have a chicken ranch. It's usually crops.
Crops is the difference.
Wait,
Yeah.
crops are on a ranch or on a farm?
On a farm.
Oh,
My grandmother had-
Real question is, if you're growing crops to harvest and sell and animals, is that a ranch or a farm?
That was my question because my grandfather had cattle, horses, but also corn and peas. So
Mm.
who knew that I spent my summers ranching? I think maybe I was a rancher.
I don't know. Anybody out in the audience got a real answer? This is just made up answers from like
I
my
feel like-
experience.
God is lying to
And
us.
Lindsay-
God has
no.
no idea.
My family both had farms and ranches. Like one side
Oh.
ranch, one side farm.
Maybe if it's in Wyoming, it's a ranch. And if it's in Alabama, it's a farm.
I like
Anything-
that.
Anything west of the Mississippi,
Yeah,
ranch.
it's ranch.
Yeah, all geography based. I like that one.
I like it. We're digressing here. I mean, if there are no other questions, just to let you know, we will be sending this presentation out. So it will have all that contact information. We'll have links to all of those features that we already have in GitHub. And, we'll just open this up for any feedback. And we would love to hear it. So don't be shy. Even if you're shy during a webinar, that's okay. We understand. Oh, Paul, you're crushing it over here with the questions. I love it.
MVP.
Yeah. To StackHawk auto scan so you don't have to remember to come back and scan. That's what automation, CI/CD pipeline, work that into your software development lifecycle, get that into your Jenkins or GitHub Actions or whatever. So yes. But also
Paul might not be familiar with the deployment model of StackHawk. Most DAST vendors are completely SaaS based and scan from the cloud. StackHawk delivers the scanner itself, the testing engine, to be deployed wherever you need it, however you need it. So as Lindsay is making reference to, you could wire up StackHawk in your CI/CD pipeline as part of a testing step. And that way, when a PR is opened or code commit is opened, it just automatically tests for you and gets that feedback back to development teams as they're making those changes and or proposing the changes to be approved and then merged and deployed. That's it's kind of the whole point of what we built at StackHawk. There's a bunch more of it, but automation is really a key piece. So you don't have to remember to go click the big green go button, and you can keep in lockstep with your development teams.
The cream of the crop.
It's a t-shirt.
So one more kind of a add on to that question. So no cloud side testing, etc.
Say more things. I don't the word cloud side testing is pretty loaded. It could mean cloud infrastructure testing, blah blah, lots of different things. If it means testing in production, you absolutely could wire that up, schedule a test once a week or every night or whatever you want to do in production on cloud side. We do not host a scanner, so no, if that is the question. But you can deploy that wherever you need to, and the benefit of that is being able to deploy the testing engine as close to what you're testing, so you don't have to traverse web application firewalls and all kinds of anti-automation things that might be in place to prevent you from getting good tests, and you're in control of it.
And we make that super easy to do. So when you go to deploy the scanner, you can script that out with a couple of lines to get the CLI, or you can just do one line and get the Docker container and run the scanner right in your pipeline.
So many options.
Cool. Yeah, let us know if that didn't answer your question. If you want to add more context, we'll dive in more. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
I think that's a thumbs up. Thanks.
I like it.
Yeehaw, let's put a lasso on this webinar and
All
wrap it
right.
up.
Boy, howdy, that's for sure fun. I really appreciate y'all coming out, talking to us. I also appreciate getting to slide right back on into my Southern accent, which I do not use, and I don't think I've ever had, even though I am, in fact, from Alabama. So, you know.
And if you missed the biggest announcement of the webinar,
Oh, yeah.
GitHub Insights is live
Today.
So we'll send you the resources from this, the slide deck, the recording. We'll shoot you, if you're already a user of StackHawk, a link to drop right into that new repositories page so you can go ahead and check it out for yourself. And if you're not already a StackHawk user, we'll send you some information on how you can get started for free so you can check it out yourself. And
Awesome.
I think that's a wrap.
And remember, office hours every month. So y'all come back, you hear?
Yep. Be on the lookout for the next one. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.